Okay, just getting ready for the reaction and the comments to this video, because no doubt people are gonna go in pretty fucking hard. Let's do it. Word to your mother, my name's Steve, this channel is Rags to Riches. Thank you for tuning in, I do appreciate it as always. And sorry I've not been around, it's been a few weeks since I uploaded. I am still about, I'm still active, so don't give up on the channel because I haven't, and I will still keep uploading, so thank you for your support. Today I'm bringing you some first impressions of two Aaron Terence Hughes fragrances, so fucking strap in, mate. If my last video on Aaron Terence Hughes and his fragrances is anything to go by, and I'll link that down in the description below, this video may ruffle some feathers, because I tell you what, fuck me, you guys take this seriously. So this is me just reminding you that I'm a man on YouTube sharing his opinion, that's it. And that opinion is fucking worthless, isn't it? Let's never forget that. I'm not an expert and I've never claimed to be. Yes, I've got a degree in chemistry, but I've never done perfumery, so it doesn't mean shit, does it? The only advantage I have over some people is I've smelt a lot of fragrances, so I've got a lot of reference points to go by. But ultimately, there's people out there with better noses than me that have smelt a lot more than me. So if your opinion differs to mine, it doesn't fucking matter, okay? If you enjoy something, if you enjoy a fragrance and I or another YouTuber don't, just go and enjoy it. It doesn't matter. Just don't go looking for somebody to ruin that opinion or ruin that fragrance for you. Just enjoy it. It's a much healthier way to live your life, to be honest. A lot of you are very opinionated over Aaron Terence Hughes, one way or the other. You love him, hate him, or just not that fussed really. But what you will do is hold on to that opinion like it holds the fucking antidote, and you will defend that till your dying breath. All I'm saying is just chill out a little bit. If someone's got a different opinion to you, it doesn't matter. And the final preface before I actually start smelling these fragrances is, this is just a first impressions. I always say this on my first impressions video, but just a reminder, fragrances develop and change quite often, quite a lot, and Aaron Terence Hughes' fragrances do that quite a lot in my experience. So bear in mind, I'm only going to be smelling basically the top notes and maybe some of the middle kind of notes in this video, because I've never smelled these before. I'm literally going to spray them on skin and share my opinion. So it's really very much a first impressions, just to give you an idea. So if I don't pick up on something that you smell or it develops later on, I'm sorry, I can't get that in this first impressions video, but just remember, it is that, a first impressions. Right, we're very close to actually smelling these fragrances now, but I just want to shout out Russ for sending me these samples. He sent me a load of samples. I've not really done much with them yet, Russ, but I promise I will, and I will start feeding back, and you'll probably hear some opinions through the podcast as well. But yeah, I saw these Aaron Terence Hughes fragrances in there, and I thought, oh, these are supposedly his more mass appealing kind of fragrances. So I was really looking forward to smelling them. So I've got Neon and Odyssey to try. As I say, these are kind of supposedly a bit more mass appealing, so I think these might be more up my street. I'm going to give my honest opinion like I did in that last video, and I stand by that last video. Some of those fragrances I really enjoyed, like Blood Orange. Some I really appreciated as a fragrance, but I didn't necessarily want to smell of it, and some are just not for me. And that's just life really, everything in life is like that. But anyway, enough rambling, let's get on with this. So here we go, this is Aaron Terence Hughes Neon. Now I've heard this is like a sort of, I think it's like a mass appealing, Sauvage-like sort of style of fragrance. So I think I'll probably like it, but we shall see. I've not looked at the notes actually or anything. I don't know much about these fragrances other than that. But smells good, smells good. Very mass appealing, very easy to like. This is not too weird or funky or challenging so far. Those very first impressions remind me a little bit of kind of Black Panther from Alexandria, which is, I've mentioned a million and one times I know, but it's their take on Bulgari's Le Gem Tiger. So that has got like a grapefruit and ambroxan kind of basically a vibe. And I'm kind of getting that. It's going in a slightly different direction now, but right at the opening I got that sort of grapefruity, soft ambroxan, very pleasant opening. I'm losing the this sort of softer ambroxan vibe. Oh, I've even got my Aaron Terence Hughes hands on the go here, haven't I? That's sort of going a little bit now. So it's just settling down. It's not as whoosh. It's just kind of a bit more. Yeah, I mean, that's very nice. It's kind of like it's like a sort of soft woody fragrance, but with definitely some sort of fruit in there, some grapefruit, maybe some bergamot, I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not going to try and be Aaron Terence Hughes and pick out all these different molecules. Just I've got a degree in chemistry. I can't do that because I've never done perfumery. So, but it smells really nice. I'm surprised that it seems to have sat on the skin quite close already. Like it was very, as soon as I sprayed it, I got a nice cloud and it's quite nice, and it seems to have sort of reined in quite a lot. So I know he likes to work on the performance of fragrances, so it might be that this sits a little bit heavier and it will last longer than typically a lot of those sort of fresher type fragrances, though Sauvage lasts, doesn't it? But it does seem to have kind of stuck to my skin and reined in and sort of stuck to it quite a lot. Yeah, it's definitely not as strong as it was. It's quite close, but very pleasant, very nice. I personally prefer Black Panther from Alexandria Fragrances, just on this first impressions, but I've not smelt it long enough. I don't know how much this is. I think a lot of Aaron's fragrances aren't cheap. Of course, they still might be quite good value. Value and cost are two different things, but very pleasant fragrance. The only thing I'd say is there's a lot of similar fragrances out there that are probably, for me, would just suit my budget a little bit more. So yeah, there's fragrances out there that are sort of similar to this that suit my budget more, that aren't as expensive, and I think I'd probably enjoy a little bit more. But very nice, and I don't doubt it'll last quite a long time. So yeah, I can't really say much more than that. So a bit of an anticlimax on that one. Okay, next up we've got Odyssey from Aaron Terence Hughes. Now, in his messages to me, Russ said that he felt this one was also very mass appealing and quite similar to Neon, to be honest, but he did say that, look, I've not got a sophisticated nose. But so yeah, let's see how this compares. I'll sort of try and break it down and tell you what I get and compare it to Neon maybe and tell you which one I prefer, if either. So let's give this a go. So yeah, here we go. This is Odyssey. 2 sprays is enough. Ooh, very zingy at the top. It's interesting. This is actually, it's funny, when I switch back to Neon, it really does have that grapefruit that you get from Le Gem Tiger and Black Panther. It really is got that really juicy grapefruit that I really enjoy. Actually, it kind of lures you in. It's a very addictive kind of sweet yet fresh grapefruit. It's really nice. But this is, it's kind of fresh, but in a different kind of way. It's quite sort of powdery and musky. It's definitely not as fruity. I don't know if it's like the patchouli in there. I know some people say like patchouli, they can get like a chocolatey or something like that. But I'm kind of, there's something in it that kind of gives it like a, like an almost like a minty type vibe. Yeah, it's quite subtle. It's kind of like a fresh, I'm trying to think of a flower or something that kind of almost gives off a mint, because it's kind of, it's sort of almost like a herby mint kind of greenness to it. So it's quite fresh and sort of zingy. It's kind of gets your attention. But it's definitely more, definitely not as fruity, and it's kind of more sort of powdery. It's nice, very mass appealing again. I definitely prefer Neon. I do wonder if that kind of mintiness that I'm getting makes it a little bit more mature, maybe? I'm not sure. I think so. I think it's nice. I mean, I could wear it. I wouldn't choose to wear this one. I wouldn't kind of own this, to be honest, even if I could kind of get it on a deal or whatever. Odyssey's not, it's not to say it's bad, but it sort of just doesn't blow me away. I think there's others out there that I'd sort of enjoy, where Neon, like comparing the two, I'd just definitely go for Neon. It's a much nicer fragrance. It's just much more, it just lures me in a bit more. It's much more alluring. It's more that sort of, as I said earlier, that grapefruit is kind of sort of quite fresh, yet subtly sweet with it as well. It just smells like a really fresh grapefruit that I just really enjoy smelling. Where Odyssey, I wouldn't say it's old manish, but it does feel a little bit more mature than Neon. And it's just not as interesting. I guess that sort of mint does kind of give it a slightly different twist, but it's not something that I particularly enjoy or lures me in. So it's not of interest to me, I guess is what I'm saying. So there you go, that's my take. They're both very mass appealing. You could definitely wear both of them in the office without any negative attention. They're definitely safer than some of the other Aaron Terence Hughes fragrances that I've smelt. I think he does like to try different things and to be quite challenging. So for that reason, I think a lot of people enjoy him. And that's why some of his fragrances that I spoke about previously, I said I actually really appreciate them as a smell. And I think the smell is quite fascinating and interesting, but I don't necessarily want to smell of it. So he does make interesting smells, but just not always ones that I want to smell of. But these two I definitely wear without any qualms, but I would choose Neon over this. Perhaps if I was smelling this in isolation, it'd smell better, but against Neon, I just much prefer Neon. It smells good, it smells quite safe. I think this is quite a safe present for, again, I don't want to make it sound like an old man smell, but for a dad or an uncle or brother or something, where this one is what you'd buy yourself, because it's just a better scent, really. There you go, that's my impressions. Not as bollock twisting and divisive as the last video, I hope, but who knows, you may feel otherwise. Thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it as always. I've recently hit 4,000 subscribers, which is amazing. So thank you to everybody that's supported me. And we're starting the road to the 5,000 now. That was kind of my goal. I think 5,000 might be achievable with your support. So I'm gonna keep sort of plugging away and try and aim for 5,000. So thank you. Do hit like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this, and hit dislike if you didn't, because it helps my engagement score. So that's it. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you for another video soon. Take care, much love.